Here's Chief Meteorologist Chris Boone.
It's been a busy day in the Weather Center, and the culprit, well, right behind me again, that upper level low has kind of been circulating in through the Texas Panhandle. Now it's starting to move in towards the Texoma area and towards Wichita Falls. But out ahead of it, you see that line of showers and storms moving in towards, past through the Metroplex. Again, it was along I-35 just a couple of hours ago, continuing to move off towards the east and seeing some of those severe storms kind of associated with it. A lot of severe thunderstorm watches and warnings with it. We've even seen a few tornado warnings with some of these storms as they kind of moved out of our area and off towards the east. And back behind it, well, we haven't seen a whole lot of activity, though just in the past maybe an hour or so, we have seen a few showers kind of in towards the Mason area. Again, a little bit of a little shower here and there, but otherwise we've been mostly seeing those clear skies kind of building in behind that frontal system. And with that, again, those gusty winds and those much cooler temperatures as they're going to be building in towards our area. In fact, we still have that wind advisory you're talking about before the break. That continues through the overnight hours for the majority of the Concho Valley, with the exception of Reagan County, though it's still going to be pretty breezy out there as well. We'll start to see these winds begin to weaken by 7 a.m. So again, not nearly as breezy as you get into tomorrow afternoon, and still seeing some of those gusts up into the 20s, 29-mile-per-hour gust out in Brady, 26 for Menard, 15 out in El Dorado, 26 for Big Lake. So again, still seeing some of those windy conditions, and they're going to persist through the evening and overnight hours. And it's going to be windy indeed across the area. 61 degrees right now in downtown San Angelo. The dew points have dropped down into the 30s. So we've seen a decrease as drier air moves in from the west. It's also going to be seeing those cooler temperatures. We'll see those temperatures continue to drop back down, getting into the 40s. Winds right now out of the west at 16 miles per hour. Again, we have seen some of those wind gusts getting up into the 20s. For the most part, 60s right now for the majority of the Concho Valley. You do have a couple of 50s up in towards the northwest. 58 degrees in Robert Lee, 57 for Sterling City, as well as 58 in Big Lake, and seeing those 60s rather for the rest of the Concho Valley. So cooling things down as we continue. You see that temperature change, that that gradient across the state. 40 degrees in Amarillo, 70 degrees back out ahead of that frontal system, ahead of that rain, or you're seeing those warmer temperatures. Again, all that as that low pressure system kind of pushes across the state. And we're going to be dropping those temperatures even further, getting down into the mid 40s, 45, so much chillier across the area compared to what we got down to last night. Windy conditions, those are going to continue across the area. The rain chances, I think for the most part, we're mostly done with the rain, but we could still see the chance for an isolated shower, though. Again, most of us drying out as we continue into tomorrow. Much colder across the area, only topping out into the mid-70s. Clear skies, and those winds by the afternoon hours, we'll start to see them finally begin to die down a bit. Get out of the west, 5 to 10 miles per hour. Could still see some gust up into the teens or 20s, but it's not nearly as breezy as what we've seen the past couple of days. So again, windy conditions persisting through the overnight hours. As we get into tomorrow morning, we'll start to see those winds die down just a bit. Still hanging out in the teens for the most part, but they'll get a lot calmer than what we saw for the past couple days. Then we'll start to see them turn more out of the south for us on Wednesday. That's going to be all ahead of our next system. This is that first system that you saw come through. That kicks off to the northeast. And we see kind of a little bit of a resetting the atmosphere. We see another system kind of move in for us on Thursday into Friday. Very similar setup. We'll see those windy conditions as well as a chance for some isolated showers and thunderstorms. This first system pushes off towards the east. We'll see a few clear skies for Tuesday as well as Wednesday. And then by Thursday, that second system sees those showers and storms develop, especially in our eastern parts of the Concho Valley. Very similar to what we saw today. And that pushes off towards the east as well. And then we'll be looking at fairly quiet conditions for the weekend. And that's going to be just in time for Halloween. Some really comfortable temperatures as we see a cool down for the 70s as we head in towards the weekend with a slight warm up just in time for Halloween.